If you're having trouble racking a slide, you're not alone. It's a problem that we get approached with a lot from customers. A lot of times they're wanting to make sure they don't get a semi-automatic because of the issues that they have when going to rack a gun. And what racking is, for those that don't know, is it's the action of taking the slide to the rear on the firearm. And it's necessary to load a cartridge and ensure that all the internals are where they're supposed to be for the firearm to function. So it's a critical step, and it's something that's important to be able to do. I'm a fairly small person. I'm 5'1", and my weight fluctuates a little bit, but I'm about 130. And I was concerned about that when I first got a gun. And what I'm going to cover today is some of the techniques on how to properly rack a firearm so that it's easier, using leverage in your favor instead of, not. So if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and you know what? Drop me a comment with what kind of firearm you have. Always curious to see what people have out there. So I've got two firearms here that we're going to talk about today. The first one is the Smith & Wesson Shield EZ. This is the 380 model. I do also have the 9. You can see open, clear, nothing in the chamber. And then the other firearm that I have is the Springfield Hellcat. The reason I wanted to cover this with both of these firearms is because the EZ was literally made for people that have strength issues. But first, let's look at some of the issues that people do when they approach a firearm. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to make sure that I have a proper grip on the firearm, up high back here, and then I'm going to bring the firearm in by my body. I'm going to take my left thumb across these serrations on the back as much as I can, because they're there to help. Pinch the slide and push with my shoulders. And that brings it back. Now this gun is extremely easy. I don't even know what to say. It's just so easy to do. Now what we see a lot of people do is they come up and they grab low. Well, if you grab low, you're taking away your resistance. So it makes it harder to rack the firearm. So it's important to have a firm grip and then get in close to your body and use your shoulders. A lot of people will be out here in front of them trying to do this, and it's doable if you got the muscles, but it's a weak leverage position. And shooting's a sport, and a lot of people don't think about it in that fashion. There's fundamentals to it. So the Hellcat is just another compact pistol, and both of these are my personal pistols. And it's smaller, and it's not got that easy thing, and the serrations aren't quite as pronounced as they are on the EZ. So it is a little more difficult to rack than the EZ, but again, fundamentals. So if you're out in front of you trying to pull, it's tough. You can see my hand is slipping off of the slide because it's out in front of me. But if I get in by my body and I'm across, it's doable, but that's using my shoulders to do that. The other thing is, when someone is at a store looking at a gun and they're having a lot of trouble racking that firearm, the springs are brand new. So yeah, it's not gonna always get extremely easy, but it will get easier. And then as you practice the fundamentals, the having it in by your body and racking it gets easier. I don't have the magazines in here, so I missed the slide stop on that one. But out in front, it's tough. That's a weak leverage position. You're using your forearms. You're not really having the strength of your shoulders. So remember that shooting is a sport, and there are fundamentals. And it's important to know those fundamentals and practice those fundamentals, because a firearm is our last line of defense. That's why we carry these things, for our protection. So when you have trouble racking the slide, just pause. Make sure you've got a firm grip, up high on the back, grip around, and you're good to go. Another thing that people always do is they try to walk the slide back forward. and ease it in. If you do that, your gun's not going to get into a position where it's going to want to fire. They're designed to be driven home by that spring. Let that spring do the work. So once you're back, let it go. Don't think about walking it back. It's a tool, and they're designed to take that beating. If you think about it, every time you pull the trigger with a round in there, that sucker's sliding back home hard. So just let it go home. Don't walk it back. Now, if you're just trying to check and make sure it's clear, you don't have any intention of firing it, yeah, you can walk it back. No big deal. But again, fundamentals. So have a proper grip and make sure that you use your upper body strength to help. That's what it's there for.